I like going to card shows, but I really like going to a new card show in a new place put on by a new promoter. Carefully targeted advertising brought my attention to the Fort Smith Card Show in Fort Smith, Arkansas at the Fort Smith Convention Center, well branded across the board. This show was put on by Top Value Rips, a small newcomer to the card show promoting market. I arrived on a hot Saturday to the Fort Smith Convention Center, but I couldn't figure out the complex, which was very large. I found the card show banner and so decided to park there, but the lot was pretty empty. A small group of people began to coagulate around locked doors, nobody quite sure where to go. Some exploring around a few corners, and I found a sign. Alerting the others, they began to follow me, the Pied Piper of card shows, looking for an unlocked entry door. We kept following the signs, sign after sign. Several hundred meters from the parking lot, we finally found an unlocked entry door and signage welcoming what was now a veritable caravan of card enthusiasts, all following me like I had a clue what I was doing or where I was going. $5 admission to this show, which I suppose is fine, but paying money for the opportunity to pay money for things is one of the irksome quirks of our capitalist society. Once inside the door, I could see the show was contained to a single room in this otherwise vast convention center complex. There was about 150 tables, and it was pretty crowded not long after show opening. On first glance, it seemed a good mix of tables, new and old, sports and TCG, but this was just a first glance. There was easy access to the bathrooms and even concessions if you needed a snack or a drink. To easily intake and or dispose of food and drink at a card show should not be taken for granted. To business, though. 80s and 90s baseball stars, you say? Truth in advertising. In short order, I found a Tim Raines rookie for $3, a cheapie for all you Hall of Fame rookie collectors out there. There was a Donruss Randy Johnson rookie card for $2 and the Topps for $1. I'm not sure why the two Johnson rookies are different prices here, but I suppose I shouldn't quibble over $1. I have 1958 Topps cards on my radar of late. If you saw my recent collection video, I received a bunch of cards that included some few 1958 Topps cards. Since then, I have nudged that small pile of cards in the direction of a starter set and wanted to see what cards I might be able to pick up here to more formally move those cards towards an official starter set, which by this collector's opinion is 20% of the set, which, in the case of the 1958 Topps, would be 100 cards. One of the first tables in the door had an album full of 58 and 59 Topps cards, all marked from $1 to $3. I got to work and helped myself to 25 1958 Topps Commons, a few of which were high numbers, to the tune of $50, an average of $2 per card. Now, $2 per card seems to be the new price floor for 58 Topps cards, and I was happy to get these cards at that price. The cards at $1 each tend to be pretty beat up, and the 2 for $1 cards are barely recognizable. I've also had Fleer cards on my mind to pick up for a set completion project also connected to the recent collection. And so I sidled up 2 player boxes of the correct era, all in card savers, hoping to find the last few of the stars needed for that set. I unknowingly sidled up next to another guy who immediately gives me the fisheye. You're the Phillies guy from YouTube, aren't you? I am. The last 2 shows since I've revealed my identity have seen a marked increase in my public recognitions. I had a nice chat about cards with this channel fan, and I told him I'm happy to give his hands a cameo in the upcoming video. But back to business. I was able to find 5 of the stars needed for my 85 Fleer set, $3 for the lot. It was nice to rummage through such nicely organized boxes, worth the slight premium I paid for the cards. While meandering, I took note of the mere $10 price tag on this 1990 Upper Deck complete set, as I recently spent many times that amount on sealed boxes to try and complete that set, a terrible financial sacrifice I'll make for the greater good in the coming weeks. I found a 1975 Topps Jim Rice rookie for $10, which very much fits into the vein of the $10 Hall of Fame rookie video I did a while back. I left the card, but decided shortly thereafter to go back and buy it. But by the time I got back to the table, alas, it had been sold. The next challenge of the day came by way of these boxes, with a price scheme that seemed way more complicated than it needed to be. I did find a few choice cards, and it was fun to flip, and the dealer was fun to talk to. I pulled this 1989 Topps traded Nolan Ryan out of a 50-cent box, notable in that many bros came at me in the comments on a previous video when I lambasted a dealer at a previous show for trying to charge $5 for this card because it was in a one-touch mag. To quote me, "You've seen it too. An ocean of one-touch mags, all priced at $5, full of cards that ain't $5 cards. Sorry, 89 traded Nolan Ryan, you ain't a $5 card. Neither are you, 86 Topps Ricky Henderson All-Star. I'm not sure what to make of this new trend, but I know I don't like it." Sorry, 89 Topps traded Nolan Ryan, you are still not a $5 card, but you are very much a 50-cent card. Of course, I didn't pay 50 cents for this card because I already have about 10 of them. But I did buy other cards, like this 1993 Donruss Mike Piazza rated rookie, an 85 Fleer Wizard, and this 1978 SSPC Baseball the Phillies Way hand-cut Mike Schmidt. These cards were weird. They came in a baseball instruction book that had nothing really to do with baseball cards, but they included some baseball cards into the instruction book. 27 cards total in 3 uncut sheets for the kids to cut up themselves. This card really puts the hand in hand cut, but I can fix those edges. I also found a 91 Best Pudge rookie, a Harper for the kid in the form of this 2019 Allen and Ginter Mini, and this 1985 Fleer All-Stars card. Now I've had this happen before, where I take a bunch of mismatched stuff from a bunch of different boxes to a dealer, and he just says a number that has nothing to do with his own price scheme, and that's exactly what happened here. I gave him the stack of cards, he looked at them, looked at me, looked at his signs, looked back at the cards, looked back at me, and said, just give me $2. All right, friend, $2 it is. I ran into another channel fan named Cody who alerted me to a dealer who had a most unique lot for sale. He introduced me to the dealer who had this, a 1955 Barber's Tea Cinema and Television Stars complete set. A what? A 1955 Barber's Tea Cinema and Television Stars complete set. All 25 cards inclusive of the checklist. These are the same size as old tobacco cards, but instead of coming in tobacco pouches, they came in tea pouches distributed throughout England after World War II. The chase card of the set is the Marilyn Monroe, as I'm told. The Monroe card goes for about $100 on its own. There's one listed on ComC right now for $114, ungraded. As of this video, there are just 15 complete sets listed on the PSA set registry. But that's not what makes this set so special. This set is sequentially graded. This complete set has sequential cert numbers, and the dealer claims it's the only one in the world like it. The ends that collectors will go to add a flair of uniqueness to their collections is really something to behold. A complete set of ungraded cards can easily be yours for about $100. The last comp was even less than that. A complete set of these cards in high grade, all 8s, 9s, and 10s, sold 2 weeks ago for $750, with the Monroe card in a PSA 8. This set that I was looking at was mostly low grade. The Monroe was only a 1, with a few mid and high grade cards scattered in, but nowhere near the condition of the set that recently sold on eBay for a reasonable, I guess if you're into tea cards, $750. If you're curious what this dealer was asking for a complete PSA sequentially graded 1955 Barber's Tea Cinema and Television Stars set, so was I. Are you sitting down? He was asking $25,000. Mad props for the collecting chops it takes to put something like this together and to have the cojones to ask what you believe that it's worth. I think perhaps it's time to throw more tea into the harbor. If you are interested in acquiring this sequentially graded 1955 Barber's Tea set, leave me a note and I'll connect you with the dealer. As I worked my way to the back of the room, things got heavy on the Pokemon. Table after table after table of holofoil Pikachus, reverse black holofoil Charizards, and choo-choos of Mewtwoos and Tutus. I'm certain these people find my fascination with 100-year-old Phillies cards equally perplexing. All in all, there wasn't much vintage at this show. This Mickey Mantle rookie, an island unto itself at $14,000. Where I would expect to find Maze and Mantle, instead I found Star Wars Lego sets and comic books, both collectible in their own right, but really starting to stretch the definition of a card show. And this ended up being the last table for me, the straw that broke this camel's back. I saw this card, and I just stopped. I stared at this persnickety perplexing puzzle, searching for a reason to believe. $150? Maybe it's at Tiffany and there's an autograph on the back. What do I know? Nope. That is a 1987 Topps Common for $150. I asked the nice woman running the table if it was correctly marked, and she said, yeah, that's a Canseco rookie. Thanks, I'm aware of the card. I did not bother with the 1986 Donruss Jose Canseco rookie debate. I'm happy if you want to call this card his rookie. But as I've said to my wife many times over the years, you just can't convince crazy. For any discussion to work, both parties need to agree on the fundamental nature of reality. But given this little white rabbit, I was curious about the cards in Wonderland, so I ate the pastry, drank the potion, and went through the little door. I rifled through her boxes to find an 88 Glavin for $10, 10 times what it should be. Or even better, an 89 Donruss Griffey rookie at $95. That's not a 7, I was told very specifically, it's a 9. And if this card was a PSA 9, it still wouldn't be a $95 card. 87 Topps Roger Clemens All-Star. You can have the whole set for $15 and have money left over to buy yourself 10 additional 1987 Topps Roger Clemens All-Star cards. How about an unlicensed 2023 Donruss Nolan Ryan reprint, reverse negative, for $200? This isn't an actual error card. This is just a parallel purposely issued by Donruss to harken back to the Juan Gonzalez reverse negative. There are thousands of these cards. If you're curious, and I sure as crap was, this card is on eBay all day for $2 shipped. Same with this Duke Snider. $200 for a junk reprint. All of the cards at this table were like this. But you can't convince crazy. So I'm just going to take my little pile of appropriately priced baseball cards, throw a wave to the Cheshire Cat and Mad Hatter, duck the Queen of Hearts, and head for the car. Good little show. Had I driven 2 hours each way to get here, I'd probably be disappointed. But this was only about 45 minutes each way, and it was a fun little jaunt on an otherwise too hot summer afternoon. Thanks for watching. It's time to trade up those crumpled chicken scratch travesties you call cardbox delighters for something more befitting of a collection like yours. I can help. Send me an email at philliesbaseballcards@gmail.com or check out sspsportscardproducts.com.